It was a quiet neighborhood in Long Island, New York, the kind of American suburb where life moved softly, where children played on trimmed lawns, and where families believed in the safety of home. But on the corner of Ocean Avenue, beneath the whisper of old oak trees, stood a house that would soon become a symbol of dread across the nation. 112 Ocean Avenue, Amityville. A house with white siding, tall windows shaped like half-moons, and a story that would shake America's faith in what home truly means. This is not just a ghost story. It's a haunting woven into the American soul. A chilling reminder that evil, once unleashed, can echo for generations. November 13th, 1974. Amityville, New York. That night began like any other. The DeFeo family, 6 people, slept soundly in their rooms. Ronald DeFeo Sr., a stern father known in town. His wife, Louise, gentle and devoted. Their children, Dawn, Allison, Mark, and John Matthew, tucked beneath the safety of blankets. But sometime after midnight, that safety shattered. One by one, the thunder of gunfire tore through the house. 6 lives ended in silence. No one screamed, no one ran. It was as if the walls themselves absorbed the horror. When morning came, the town of Amityville would never be the same. Ronald DeFeo Jr., the oldest son, confessed. He claimed voices made him do it, voices from the house. Reporters flooded Ocean Avenue. The police sealed off the home. And yet, even behind yellow tape, neighbors swore they could still see lights flicker inside the empty rooms at night. New York's media called it the House of Murder. But the story, the real story, was only beginning. A little over a year later, in December 1975, George and Kathy Lutz stood outside that same house. Snow covered the yard, and a cold wind swept through Long Island. Yet to them, it looked perfect, a dream home at a dream price. 5 bedrooms, a boathouse, a pool, and a history they thought they could forget. They moved in just before Christmas with Kathy's 3 children. The real estate agent mentioned the murders, but said it softly, like a secret she hoped they'd ignore. They blessed the house. A priest came, Father Ray Mancuso, his breath visible in the winter air as he sprinkled holy water on the walls. But the moment he entered one upstairs bedroom, something unseen whispered in his ear, "Get out." He fled the house and never returned. That was day 1. At first, it was small things, the front door slamming by itself, strange smells like sewage and perfume, cold spots in rooms that should have been warm. George woke every night at 3:15 a.m., the exact time the DeFeo murders occurred. He began to change. His eyes hollowed, his face grew pale, and an unshakable rage simmered in his voice. The house felt alive. Kathy had nightmares, visions of the murdered family lying face down in their beds. The children spoke to someone they called Jody, a pig with glowing red eyes that stood outside their window at night. One afternoon, Kathy's cross necklace twisted on her neck, tightening until it left marks. The priest's phone line crackled with static whenever the Lutzes tried to call for help. Neighbors said they saw shadows moving behind the windows when no one was home. The house had begun to breathe again. As days turned to nights, the Lutzes felt their grip on reality slip. Doors ripped off hinges. A black slime oozed from the keyholes. The family dog, Harry, barked endlessly at the boathouse, his hair bristling at something invisible. George became obsessed with chopping wood, keeping the fire burning, as if he feared what would happen if it went out. He stopped going to work, stopped eating.
He looked at his wife and children with a distance that frightened them. Kathy would wake to find herself levitating inches above the bed. She saw her reflection in the mirror, but it wasn't her face staring back. In the basement, George discovered a small red room hidden behind a wall, a space that wasn't on the blueprint. It smelled of blood and decay. Every corner of the house whispered. Every stair creaked like a warning. And every night at 3:15, the walls would seem to pulse, as if something beneath them was alive, remembering what it had once consumed. 28 days. That's how long they lasted. On the final night, January 14th, 1976, the house reached its climax. The temperature dropped suddenly. Doors slammed upstairs. The children screamed as unseen hands pulled at their blankets. George felt a presence crawl beneath his skin, an evil older than memory. Outside, the boathouse lights flickered like fireflies in a storm. Inside, the crucifix on the wall spun upside down. Kathy shouted prayers, but her voice was drowned by the roar of something that seemed to come from the walls themselves, a sound not of this world. And then, silence. They fled into the freezing night, leaving everything behind. Clothes, food, photographs, even the family dog. They never went back. The next morning, the house stood still, quiet, as if nothing had ever happened. The Lutz family told their story to the world. They spoke of smells, sounds, and shadows, of a force that wanted them gone. America was captivated. Skeptics called it hysteria. Believers called it proof. Paranormal investigators Ed and Lorraine Warren, famous across the United States for their studies of haunted houses, visited the home. They claimed to feel a heavy presence, darker than any they'd known. A photograph taken that night showed a small boy peeking from the staircase, though no children were there. The house became legend. Books, movies, and debates followed. News anchors in New York, California, and Ohio covered it. Every American had an opinion. Was it a hoax, or had something truly evil been left behind? The Lutz family moved to California, seeking peace, but the memory of Ocean Avenue followed them. George said the nightmares never stopped. Kathy said the smell of decay sometimes returned in her dreams. And the house? It still stands. Today, the address has been changed, the windows reshaped. New owners have lived there, normal families, who say they've experienced nothing unusual. But visitors still drive past 112 Ocean Avenue, slowing their cars to look. Some swear they feel a chill as they pass. Others hear whispers carried by the Long Island wind. Psychologists say the mind plays tricks, that trauma and suggestion can haunt us more than spirits. But others believe some places absorb darkness, holding it like a stain time can't erase. Maybe the Amityville house is both. A tragedy turned into myth, and a myth that refuses to die. Whatever the truth, the story of Amityville became a mirror reflecting America's fascination with evil, faith, and fear.
From coast to coast, from New York to California, from Florida to Washington, people still whisper about the house in Amityville. Paranormal groups visit, skeptics debunk, and filmmakers return again and again. Each generation finds something of themselves in the story: fear, guilt, belief, denial. Because in the end, The Amityville horror isn't just about one house. It's about every house. Every place where laughter once lived and silence moved in. It's about the idea that sometimes evil doesn't just happen, it stays. And if you listen closely, you can still hear it. A faint whisper behind the walls. A door creaking open when no one's there. The echo of footsteps long gone. It's not the sound of ghosts. It's the sound of memory. The sound of America's darkest story still being told. They called it the Amityville Horror, but for those who stepped inside, it was never just a story. It was something that watched, waited, and whispered. Even now, beneath the calm skies of Long Island, when the wind passes through the trees, it's said that you can still hear one word carried softly through the night. Get out.